The study of economics unfolds as a craft of mapping echoes, those quiet, far-reaching effects that trail behind decisions. It's about peering past the quick wins of a narrow few to grasp how a single move ripples across the whole tapestry, over time. This pursuit isn't just about spotting the obvious, it's about chasing the subtle threads that weave through every corner of life. This truth has been the heartbeat of the exploration here. First sketched in bare outlines, it's been fleshed out through a gallery of real-world scenes, each a brushstroke adding depth to the picture. Along the way, glimmers of broader wisdom have surfaced, whispering lessons worth pinning down in sharp relief. To call economics a science of consequences is to liken it to a puzzle box. Take a simple riddle. If A equals 4, and A plus B equals 10, then B must be 6. The answer doesn't shout itself. It's tucked inside the question, waiting to be pried loose. Even in the thorniest tangles of numbers, the solution hides in plain sight, a seed needing only the right nudge to bloom. Sometimes it unfurls with a jolt, like a sailor glimpsing a new shore through the fog. Yet it was always there, stitched into the fabric of the setup. Economics mirrors this dance. Like a builder plotting a tower, the task demands knowing the ground's slant, the wind's pull, the weight to bear, and the stuff it's made of. Past hands have already charted much of the terrain, handing down tools, formulas, measures, to size the beams and brace the frame. Facts fuel the design, but the logic that binds them is the spark that lights the way, turning a single truth into a blaze that reveals the whole. Too often, though, the quiet truths slip past notice. Claiming prosperity flows from pumping out more loans sounds bold, until it's flipped as piling up IOUs, a less dazzling twin. Boosting orchard yields to enrich the land morphs into hiking fruit costs for townfolk. Pouring public funds into grand schemes gets recast as clawing deeper into pockets. Pushing wares abroad forgets it pulls goods back in turn. And lifting pay floors across the board? That's just dressing up higher hurdles for making things. Each coin has two faces. Sometimes one shines, while the other's worth goes unseen. A loan's burden might pale next to its bounty. A public purse might dodge a worse snag. A trade might weather a costlier day. But skipping the full tally risks a half-blind bet. These sketches unveil another gem. When policies are weighed not just for a favored few now, but for all over the long haul, the answers often echo plain, unpolished sense. No one untouched by tangled theories would cheer shattered storefronts or flattened streets as boons. Few would call it wise to carve useless channels or hoard idle hands from useful work. Machines that churn out more with less sweat wouldn't loom as foes. Clogging trade or consumption wouldn't pass as a path to plenty. Forcing others to take wares at a loss wouldn't gleam as riches. And squandering more to claim wealth wouldn't ring true. An old voice once cut through the haze. What's shrewd for a household can't be madness for a nation. Yet the maze of details trips up many, leaving them clutching notions that crumble under their own weight. A shallow dip into economics might spin wild tales. Depth pulls back to earth, rooting out every shadow a choice casts. Along this trail, a familiar figure steps into view. The overlooked soul, conjured long ago by a thinker of the 1880s. Picture this. One spots a flaw hurting. Another and rallies a third to fix it with a rule, dictating what a fourth must do or what all must pitch in. That fourth, the one shouldering the load, fades into the backdrop, unsung. History twists the irony. Decades later, that name got pinned on the one meant to be saved, while the true bearer sank deeper into shadow, tapped endlessly to soothe others' woes. This tangle isn't a fluke. It's baked into how work splits apart. In a raw, unshaped world, a soul reaps exactly what they sow. Every bite ties straight to their sweat. But when tasks shatter into 1,000 shards, that thread snaps. One crafts a single strand, say, a basket, and trades its worth for all else needed. Low prices for everything bought sound sweet, but a high tag on that basket fattens the gain. Abundance everywhere else is a gift. Scarcity in baskets is the gold. A potter might churn out wares galore, but pray the clay fields of others run dry, lifting the haul for every pot sold. Competition usually curbs this wish. Each strives to flood their own stream, swelling the whole. But if potters band together, and rules bend their way, they might choke the clay's flow, spiking prices. If the jump outpaces the shrink, they pocket more, while buyers swap more of their own craft for less clay-turned treasure. The village starves by those missing pots, but eyes locked on the potters see only their gleam. Take a flood of berries after a mild spring. Everyone savors cheaper pies, the world richer by those juicy heaps. Yet berry pickers groan unless the glut offsets the dip in price. If one's patch yields no more than last year, the loss stings sharp. Shifts in want play the same tune. A loom spinning finer thread cheaper lifts all wardrobes but idles old weavers. A fuel breakthrough blesses many but dims quarry lamps. No leap forward spares every hand, nor does any turn in taste. A wave of thrift shutters taverns. Calmer vices nudge dealers to new trades. Even virtue's rise pinches. Fewer strays mean leaner days for shepherds of souls or keepers of order. In this web of split toil, any surge in plenty bruises some who staked their craft on the old scarcity. If bounty balanced perfectly, berries, cloth, fuel all swelling as one, no picker would mourn. Cheaper pies might trim each berry's worth, but cheaper everything else would square it, leaving all richer by the haul. Real leaps, though, lurch unevenly, here a burst, there a bust. A glut in one's own trade or a gadget stealing its need turns world's gain into personal grief. The loudest note isn't the shared boon, but the sharp yelp of loss. A tide of tea delights sippers, but tea growers wince at slimmer takes, few clock the world's win. A swift cutter floods racks with boots, yet the sidelined cobblers steal the gaze. Their ache matters. Understanding demands it. Kindness urges aid from the surplus to ease their shift. But the fix isn't to torch the tea, smash the cutter, or prop up fading crafts with forced coin. That's the mad chase for wealth through want, a private dream for any knot of makers who can choke their stream while swimming in others' plenty. Applied to all, it's a noose, strangling the whole for no gain. Here lies the widest lens. Truths that hold for one cluster dissolve when every thread, maker and seeker alike, gets weighed. Seeing it whole, not in scraps, is economics' aim.